In the bustling city of Varkenbluff, a renowned academic by the name of Dr. Cassee Dannell found herself facing a dire situation. Unbeknownst to the public, the Varkenbluff Museum of Natural History was in great peril. Recently, archaeologists unearthed a mysterious artifact known as the Murkmire Stone during a dig in the nearby Murkmire region. What appeared to be an ordinary stone turned out to be an eldritch creature's egg on the verge of hatching. Dr. Dannell, who had secretly delved into the occult, recognized the danger that the Murkmire Stone posed. She made desperate attempts to convince the archaeologists to isolate the stone until further investigation could take place. However, the news of the discovery spread quickly, and the Varkenbluff Museum offered a significant sum to acquire the stone, prompting its immediate transfer to the museum. Undeterred by the dismissal of her concerns, Dr. Dannell continued her research on the Murkmire Stone and discovered disturbing information. She learned that similar objects were actually eldritch creature eggs that, once hatched, unleashed ravenous and unstoppable horrors. Determined to prevent this catastrophe, she tried to steal the stone from the museum but was caught in the act. The university, disavowing her actions, terminated her employment. With only a few hours left until the Murkmire Stone was set to hatch, Dr. Dannell found herself in desperate need of help. Exhausting all official channels, she turned to a group of individuals with whom she had a connection. Each adventurer had a unique tie to Dr. Dannell, whether as a family friend, an admirer of her work, or a student who had impressed her with their knowledge of the occult. Inside the cozy confines of the Sage's Quill, a group of adventurers' eyes were drawn to a figure dressed in a purple hooded robe, sitting alone in a corner booth. Dr. Cassee Dannell, a sense of urgency etched on her face, waved them over. As they approached, she wasted no time and began explaining the dire situation. Once done, she took a deep breath, her eyes locking with each adventurer's gaze. "You are my last hope. I need you to infiltrate the Varkenbluff Museum of Natural History, steal the Murkmire Stone, and bring it back to me. I have devised a way to neutralize the egg and save the city from the imminent horror." Dr. Dannell's voice lowered to a whisper. "But be careful. The museum is heavily guarded and the stone is scheduled to be displayed publicly tomorrow. Tonight, at the museum's gala, is our best chance to get close to it without arousing suspicion. I have tickets for each of you." She reached into a bag by her side and handed each adventurer a ticket, her eyes pleading for their assistance. "Please, there is no time to waste. Meet me in the alley between the museum once you have retrieved the stone. Together, we can prevent this senseless catastrophe." And with that, Dr. Dannell fell silent. To obtain the Murkmire Stone, the adventurers needed to thoroughly investigate the museum, familiarize themselves with its security systems, and carefully plan the theft of the egg. Once they had successfully stolen the stone, they had to rendezvous with Dr. Dannell without getting caught. The Murkmire Stone was an intriguing artifact that could not be damaged or destroyed. The egg of an eldritch creature on the verge of hatching, which, due to its rapid development, would hatch soon. To stop this, it needed to be placed inside a specially prepared crystal container. Although Dr. Dannell had already created the container, it still needed to be sealed before it could safely encase the egg. As the adventurers stepped into the museum, the grandeur of the marble columns and elegant archways surrounded them. Soft lighting illuminated the spacious hall, revealing intricate displays of fossils, artifacts, and ancient relics. The air was filled with awe as visitors eagerly explored the exhibits, their whispers blending with the hushed murmurs of knowledge seekers. The adventurers arrived at the private gala, their footsteps muffled by the plush carpeting of the gemstone wing. The grand oak doors swung open, revealing a scene of opulence and splendor. The ballroom was adorned with crimson tablecloths and fine china, while chandeliers cast a sparkling glow from above. the murmurs of nobles and the tinkling of glasses. As the adventurers stepped into the room, their eyes were drawn to the centerpiece of the gala. A marble pedestal stood proudly in the center, showcasing the Murkmire Stone. Its light green hue shimmered under the soft glow of the chandeliers, captivating the gaze of all who beheld it. The adventurers discreetly made their way through the crowd, blending in with the wealthy museum donors. They engaged in conversations with the attendees, skillfully navigating the delicate dance of social interaction. They listened intently, trying to gather any information that might aid them in their mission. Each conversation revealed a new thread of knowledge, weaving a tapestry of the museum's security measures and the history of the Murkmire Stone. Curator Alda Arkin, a formidable figure in her own right, made her presence known. She moved gracefully among the attendees, a regal air surrounding her. The adventurers observed her closely, noting the fancy clutch she held behind her back. Inside that clutch, they knew, lay the secrets they sought: a map of the museum guard stations, a master key, and a passcard to bypass the alarms. The adventurers' hearts raced as they approached the pedestal. The Murkmire Stone, the source of their mission, beckoned to them. They examined it with a mixture of awe and trepidation, studying the informational placards that surrounded it. But as they delved deeper into their investigation, they realized that crucial information was missing. Dr. Dannell's occult theory, suppressed by the museum's curator. They strolled through the museum, taking in the sights and immersing themselves in the rich history showcased before them. Their footsteps echoed softly on the polished floors as they weaved through the crowds, their eyes scanning the detailed placards that accompanied each exhibit. Dr. Dannell's sketch of the museum's layout served as their guide, but it was their own observations that truly brought the museum to life. Lifelike dioramas depicting ancient civilizations where miniature figures seem frozen in time, engaged in daily activities. Vibrant cultures and stories that once thrived in these long-forgotten lands. As they continued their reconnaissance, they couldn't help but notice the presence of the museum guards. These vigilant sentinels patrolled the halls with a watchful eye, their uniforms exuding an air of authority. The adventurers studied their movements, noting the patterns and routines of the guards. As they ventured deeper into the museum, they came across a hall adorned with sparkling gemstones. The cabinets glistened, filled with precious jewels of various colors and sizes. However, their exploration also led them to secret corners. Behind unassuming doors, they discovered concealed hallways adorned with cleaning supplies that led to individual offices. The adventurers found themselves studying documents in the curator's office, detailed information about the guards' stations after hours, which would be crucial for their upcoming heist. They committed the information to memory, their minds becoming a mental map of the museum's security measures. As the last notes of the gala's closing music faded away, the adventurers prepared for their mission. Finally, the gala ended, and later, the museum was shrouded in darkness, its grand halls devoid of the vibrance that had filled them just hours before. The adventurers sneaked, their footsteps muffled by the plush carpets that lined the corridors. Hearts racing, any wrong move could jeopardize their entire operation. They navigated the museum, eyes scanning the shadows for sign of movement, ears attuned to the faintest sound. As they made their way through the dark halls, they found locked doors and guarded passageways. They stealthily passed patrolling guards, seamlessly blending into the darkness, their forms merging with the night. Time stretched as they pressed on, finally reaching the gemstone wing. The Murkmire Stone emitted a faint, otherworldly glow, a reminder of the eldritch horror growing within. The adventurers approached, knowing they had to act swiftly, for the hatchling was on the verge of awakening. Their hands trembled as they lifted the artifact, cradling it in their grasp, but their task was not yet done. The adventurers retraced their steps with haste. They had to return the stone to Dr. Dannell to neutralize its eldritch power. They moved with purpose, avoiding the living statues that stood as silent sentinels. They circumvented the alarms using stolen pass cards. Each step brought them closer to their goal, saving the city from the impending horror. Finally, emerging from the museum, the adventurers were greeted by the refreshing embrace of the cool night air. In a dimly lit alley, Dr. Dannell awaited their return. The adventurers extended their trembling hands, presenting her with the precious artifact, their mission accomplished. With their just reward in hand, they bid farewell to Dr. Dannell, leaving her to handle the mundane task of disposing of the powerful stone.